Hey everybody, how's it going? B Temple back again, and this is the second of the emergency rations that I'm going to review for everyone today. What we've got in front of us is a French emergency ration. Actually, it's called a Emergency Food Ration, NATO approved. And this is the oldest one so far that I believe has ever been reviewed on YouTube. It's best before July of 2008, which makes me believe it was made maybe in 2007 at some point. And it's a fairly thin package. The idea for this is mostly meant for soldiers, also could be for air crew as well. In the event of an emergency, you're cut off or whatever, you're in need of rescue, and you've got no sort of primary rations left. This is then your last sort of stop for food. What's in this package is supposed to sustain you then for one day. Your ingredients, it actually shows here, is, let's see, one biscuit, one bar, one gel, one, I guess, drink powder. Yeah, so biscuits, energy bar, energy jelly, and a powder drink. And it's about 1,000 calories. And you're going to get about 16 to 20, I think it says 28%, or 16 to 20% of your protein, 20 to 40% of your fat, and 40 to 70% of your, I guess, carbohydrates. Weighs 300 grams. Now, many of you have probably never seen one in this particular wrapping, this green wrapping before, because the only other reviews of this particular type of ration usually look like this. So this one's from November of 2016. People like Steve 1989 have done reviews on this sort of stuff. And yeah, it's got like your biscuit and some of your commando bars and an isotonic drink. And this is like a, I guess like a date gel. So yeah, I'm going to assume this is going to be somewhat similar. You know, the kind of stuff that we see here is going to be, you know, what we're going to see here. Obviously, there's, you know, an 8-9 year difference in it. But I guess we'll find out. This particular ration itself actually came from France. I managed to find this through a seller who was actually a veteran of the French commandos, or French Paratroopers. This was actually part of his personal kit. I guess something that he had brought back with him from a mission that he'd been on sometime around, you know, 2006, 2007, that kind of thing. And I got a few other things from him, like some old RILs and also an RILC, or the freeze-dried commando ration, which is incredibly rare to find. That'll be getting a review at some point. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what's in this. There is a tear notch right here. So what we'll do is we'll tear this open and we'll have a look at what's inside. That tear notch did not want to cooperate. So here's a little look. Nothing looks too bad so far. Bit of an interesting smell. I'm not quite sure where that's coming from, but we'll take our items out. So first, it's a commercial item actually. We got a Power Bar Power Fast Fuel Gel with caffeine. Caffeinated green apple is the flavor. So there's 50 milligrams of caffeine just in this little pouch. It gives you some of the other information. The pouch itself is 41 grams. So you're going to get, let's see, 105 calories, just a little tiny smidge of protein, 26.3 grams of carbohydrates, no fat. But you are getting, you know, 50 grams of caffeine just as a way to wake you up. This is, I believe, your drink packet, orange, you know, boisson. So that's this is your sort of isotonic powder. This is supposed to be meant for 1 liter of water. So I don't really have a glass right here right now. That's a 1 liter vessel, so I'll just sort of use a little bit. This is it's pretty caked. You know, this has been around the world, as it were. So, you know, I don't expect it to be absolutely perfect, but we will mix it up and give it a try. Then we've got a apricot energy bar. And we got some of the information here is sort of bled off into the inside of the package, but it still feels somewhat pliable. We will at least open it up and have a look. Then our last item is our energy biscuit, which does look very similar to the biscuit that's inside the newer ones. So, you know, it's basically the same exact idea. So we've got 125 grams here. You're supposed to have basically 2 portions, as you can see, scored down the middle. These particular pieces would then break in halves. You can either eat this as it is, or if you wanted to, you could add it to a little bit of water and just make like a, like a little porridge kind of thing. But there you have it. So that is supposed to be what you live off of for an entire day. It's only 1,000 calories. You're going to expend a lot more than 1,000 calories, depending on the weather and your activity level. But it's going to be something that's going to at least sustain you. You're not going to starve to death, basically. So we'll get this all laid out and open up and see what we're working with. All right, so everything's here unpacked now. We've got our apricot bar, which I really don't know what the color of it was supposed to be before it was packed. But it does look very similar to sort of those, compressed fruit bars that you sometimes get. It also looks like it's got maybe a little bit of oats and coconut in there. And the addition of coconut and the fact that it's, maybe 12 years old makes me think that this might not be very good. It smells very pungent. Like, you can certainly get the apricot smell. But I think when we try it, we're just going to try a little bit at first because, that coconut may have gone rancid. Got our power gel ready to go. We got our drink mix, and it's incredibly caked. And I tell you, it doesn't have a great smell coming off it. So I guess we'll see how good it possibly is once we finally mix it up. And then we've got our biscuit here, which I'll snap in half without trying to make too much of a mess. There we go. That's better than I anticipated. So I guess we'll mix up our drink, and then we'll start trying out some stuff. That doesn't want to mix up very well. There's a lot of sort of chunks in it, so we'll see how that goes when it finally comes time. So yeah, we'll just try a few of these items. There's not really much to actually do here. We'll try out the power gel first. Remember, this is green apple flavored, caffeinated. Just put some out onto our spoon here. It's probably a bit more than I would have wanted to have taken in the first try. But let's give this a go. It kind of has that applesauce kind of look to it. Oh. Yeah, the consistency of that wasn't exactly what I was anticipating. It's more like a very thin caramel than an apple sauce kind of consistency. It tastes like sour apple, not sour in like, the fact it's just a sour apple flavor. But it's tastes like, apple that's gone bad, rancid. Oh, that's not very pleasant at all. And it's also bitter because of the fact that they've added caffeinated, not caffeinated. They've added caffeine to it. So yeah, I'm not going to go back for any more than that. That's enough of that one. We'll try our energy bar next, and like I said, this has got coconut in it. It's still very pliable. Get a little sort of cross-section kind of look here. But I'm going to take a little nibble first and see what kind of reaction this takes for the inside of my mouth and my tongue. Oh, the smell. The smell doesn't come off it at first, but once you sort of bite into it and chew it up a little bit, this kind of bleachy undertone comes through. And yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm not a huge fan of bleach being part of my food. So yeah, I'm not going to be having any more of that. That was absolutely horrible. I mean, obviously, guys, this is something that was actually carried by a member of the French Armed Forces, and I'm sure the storage conditions obviously were not going to be great. So it's just great to have just a sort of like a time capsule to see what it actually looked like during that time frame. Maybe to see if we can help get that taste out of my mouth. Let's try what could also be possibly really bad isotonic drink. Remember, this is orange flavor, or it's at least somewhat close to it. I don't know how to place it. It's obviously orange flavored. Doesn't taste rancid, but it just leaves like a weird feeling in your mouth. So I'm not real keen on going back to try any more of that. All we got left now is our survival biscuit, and this stuff here, this will absolutely suck the moisture out of your mouth completely. It'll be like you're eating sort of sawdust, but there's a lot of calories and fat in this, and this is meant to be perfect in a survival situation. Although you wouldn't really want to be too thirst-provoking, but we'll see how this goes. It's incredibly crumbly. That surprisingly is not that bad. Doesn't seem rancid. The oils are maybe starting to go a little bit off. Well, it's not too bad. Actually, no. Now that I'm sort of letting it sit for a little while longer, yeah, it is starting to sort of coat the upper part of my mouth, but the roof of my mouth, it's not too bad. It's very reminiscent, even though, obviously it's stale, but it is very reminiscent, the flavor is, of a brand of cereal called Life. Especially the multigrain version of it. But yeah, it's similar to either just regular Life or multigrain Life. But it's not that bad. what I'm going to try to do now is just sort of break a little bit up. And then just mix some water with it and see what it kind of does as sort of a porridge. So I got some of it crumbled up. We'll just pour a little bit of water on there. It's releasing some of the smell now where it's mixed with the water. So yeah, this mixed together really poorly, but we'll at least give a little bit of it a try. So yeah, that didn't really do a whole lot to help matters. Still getting that just like slight tinge of rancidity sort of at the roof of my mouth. It's not too bad, but you can tell that this thing is starting to go off and will obviously get worse as time goes on. And yeah, the water doesn't really want to mix with that very well. So yeah, this has been a bit of a hit and miss kind of day. The previous ration, the Canadian Forces Food Packet Survival Basic, was basically 100%, just absolutely perfect. This, yeah, not so great. So, you know, when you do reviews like this of items that are vintage, you're always rolling the dice, basically. You never know how things are going to work out. The previous one was great. This one was the exact opposite of that. But I'm sure this probably would have been fine when it was fresh, obviously. Wouldn't have wanted to have to survive on this, but to know that you had something that was fairly small and compact, and that, you know, you could live off it for a day if you really had to, maybe stretch it out even more time if you really, really had to. But yeah, it's not too bad. So this has been a review of a French Emergency Food Ration, NATO approved, from I guess July 2008 being the expiry date. So I'm going to assume sometime in 2007, I suppose, or maybe 2006. But it's been a pretty good ration. I don't know what I'm going to come back with next. I've got a few things on tap. I may try out the RILC that I also got from the same French Paratrooper veteran, or I got a number of other things in the queue, I guess, to see about reviewing. But we'll get back as quick as I possibly can. Like I always like to say, thanks a lot for stopping by, and have a good one.